go.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah, I was filming that. Tell them Hi, everyone. Welcome to How Power Facebook Live with Melissa Acuna Dango.
Yes.
Such a graceful, elegant, beautiful name. Acuna Dango.
Acuna Dango, yes.
And in today's topic, there has been such an emotional time. And today's topic, we are going to talk about releasing. And this is something we both go through at the same time. It's something that Melissa also coaches on, as well as mindfulness and life transforming from within. So I'm going to go ahead and ask you about the releasing the old to walk into the new greatest version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So you wanted to tell us a little bit about how to release, because a lot of people don't understand how to release the old and what that in the details of that is.
Sure, yes. So it's really important every time that we have a new beginning or we're entering a new phase of our life that we let go of who we used to be, right? We let go of our old self so we can step into this new, as you said, this new version of ourselves, a more empowered, more courageous, and just exactly. And what happens is that we tell ourselves these stories and we form programming. We have all of these old traumas and triggers running us from our subconscious, and we're not even necessarily aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, we do become aware and we think, oh, there's this old story or this incident that happened, but I just don't know how to let go of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as a self-awareness specialist,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you will agree with me that the first step to releasing is self-awareness, right? It's gaining that clarity and knowing what it is that is holding you back, because obviously if you don't know and you don't accept that something is running you, you can't let go, right? So awareness and acceptance is really the first step. So how do we gain that awareness? So the first thing I would say is to be really honest with yourself, to sit down with yourself.
Number one.
And recall the emotion. So recall the memory, recall the incident. So sit down and first of all, just in your mind, right? Think about this incident that you've been holding on to, that has been holding you back. Something that happened in your life that you feel you have not moved past. Maybe you just kind of stuck it under the rug, or you told yourself that you got past it, but really there's a lot of stuck emotion. So first, really replay, as tough as this sounds, replay it out in your mind. Go back to that moment. See it happening and unfolding the way that you interpret it. Right? And we'll talk a little bit about this in a moment, about interpretation, but just really see it play out and notice what comes up, what emotions come up, what is going on, what are those triggers, why was this incident so traumatic and so triggering for you, and just let yourself feel it. Then step number 2 is to feel your body. So first you're getting into it, right? The first step is in your mind. The second step is in your body. So where are those old emotions lodged? Where are they stuck? Do you have back pain? Do you have stiffness? Do you have tightness? Do you have a pain in your chest, in your heart, in your stomach? Do you get sore throats a lot? Do you get headaches a lot? What is going on? What is manifesting in your body? And really feel into it. And of course, this takes a little bit of time. Sometimes, you might say, but that sounds really hard. So trust yourself. Sit with it for a little while. Breathe into it. Keep replaying that incident in your mind, and then notice what's going on in your body. Because when you start to tune into your body and you start to notice what it is that you're feeling, that's how you actually get a lot closer to being able to release it.
Yeah, I want to share something. For me, like when it comes to paying attention to the emotion in your body, I'm embarking upon a new career. And for me, this is a huge life-changing step. And so the pain that came up for me was abandonment. And so when I was about 22, and I left my parents' home because of the religion that they practiced, they disassociated themselves with me and left me to fend in the world by myself. And there was a being alone and being abandoned, and not answering my phone calls and not allowing my siblings to speak to me, and all of that stuff has come up recently, all because I'm going to take on a new career. And in this career, I feel like I'll be by myself. And though there's a leader and, you know, there's a structure, but I feel like I'm taking on another big leap, life commitment, because when I took that first leap, I was leaving for my life. I couldn't stay with my parents any longer because they wouldn't allow me to live. And so when I left, like I said, that abandonment. And so that fear of being abandoned again came up.
Yeah.
And that I won't have that person to call, or, you know, and even now it makes me feel like the emotion of crying because there was so much pain endured at that time. But I know this time the story that I'm telling myself is going to be different.
Yes.
The business partner that I'm joining with is going to be there for me just as much as I'm going to be there for myself. I'm going to show up and I will show out.
Yes.
You know, excuse me. I'm going to walk in being the best version of myself. And that is the story that I'm telling myself. I am the best version of myself currently, right now. And the pain that I've endured in the past is only to be released so that I can grow.
Yeah.
So my pain was in my heart. My parents, you know, abandoned me. Though I forgive them, they were doing the best that they believed that they could. And I don't think that they were intentionally putting that pain there. I had to leave for my own good, and I committed to myself and learning and growing. And now this is another adventure or stage in my journey where I'll have to commit for the rest of my life and change and grow. And it's scary.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But
I mean, change is scary anyway, but when we're feeling those triggers from the past, right, they can often keep us stuck. But you actually did beautifully, you did the next step, which is actually labeling that emotion. So once you feel the pain and you feel it in your head, you feel it in your body, then you get really clear on what is actually going on. So for you, you know, it was that fear of abandonment, knowing that that's what you had felt when you were younger, and that's what you're scared of, right? And that's so key, because emotions and traumas, they come in layers, right?
Yeah.
It's not, sometimes we only go as far as like the very surface level. Like we think, you know, I'm a little bit uncomfortable, or we label like the very surface emotion. And we don't realize that under that layer, there's so many other emotions that are much deeper and that are stuck under there. So whether it's shame or guilt or grief or like a deep abandonment, right? That is really key. So labeling that emotion so that you can get clearer on what it is that you're feeling. Then the next step, I would say, so step 4 is to express it. So what I recommend you do is you grab 3 pieces of paper. So on the first piece of paper, you're going to write out that story. You're going to write out exactly what you have been telling yourself all of these years. Exactly how it played out for you, how you felt. Be as specific as possible with your emotions, with your triggers. You know, whatever it is that you're feeling, let that flow out onto that piece of paper. Even if it's blame, if it's guilt, whatever it is, let it out. Then on the second piece of paper, you're going to write the story from the other person's perspective. So if it had something to do with someone, so for example, in your case, you know, on the first paper you would write how you felt and how it made you feel, and how when your parents didn't speak to you, what that did to you. Then on the second one, you would write the story from your parents' perspective. So what they were feeling, what they were thinking, why they did what they did, why they felt they needed to. And really see if you can actually step into that person's perspective and understand them from a really deep level. And even if you feel like I can't do that, that's really hard, just try your best. Just try and see if you can see even one reason for why they did what they did. And then the third one, this is kind of fun, you actually write it from a third person perspective. So
I love this one.
Yeah, it's really good. So as if you're like a newspaper reporter, right? Like reporting on this incident. And now you're going to be as objective as possible. Because there's this saying, and I don't remember who said it first, but I really like this. So it's like, there are 3 sides to every story. So there's my side, your side, and the truth, right? Or the facts. Because the thing is, like I mentioned earlier, perception is reality, right? So the way that we perceive things, the way that we interpret things is how it plays out for us. That's our reality. The thing is, we all have a slightly different reality because we all perceive things differently. So being able to go from our perspective to their perspective to then the most objective perspective you can find. So really reporting at it, from a third person perspective, as if you were not involved at all, you were just witnessing it, and really write it out with just the facts, just what happened.
And if I can give an example of that, it's something that I love to do because the little girl inside of me, she's 23, and she's been 23 for a long time. And she also has been holding on to things that she didn't realize that she needed to let go. But I, as the greatest version of myself, identify that in her. And so when it comes to that, I'm like, let it come up, girl. What is bothering you?
Yeah.
Why did it hurt you so bad? And if she needs to cry, I allow her to cry. But I also get the pen and I lead her to writing it down, what it is. And then I show her, hey, this was your mom and your dad's perception. They felt like if they, abandoned you, then you would have nobody to turn to and you would come back and fall under their rules. That didn't happen. You chose your own path, So forgive them, accept it, and become the greatest version of yourself and release it, And she agrees, and she's like, this small voice that's inside that's like, well, what if the abandonment happens again? Well, it won't. It won't. And I have to reassure that inner self, that small voice, that it won't happen again, because there's a knowing inside of me that the journey that I'm embarking upon now is my destiny. So she has to let go, and she is. And it takes a little time because it keeps coming up.
And also, I think the key with abandonment, right, as heavy as that feels. So even if other people leave you, even if other people feel triggered by you and they walk out of your life, you can never be fully abandoned if you're there for yourself.
Yeah.
Because as long as you are there and you are being there for yourself, you are supporting yourself and you are essentially nurturing and mothering yourself in the most beautiful way possible, then you're never going to be alone. And that's really important to remember.
And some of the steps I like to take is I always have a candle around because it keeps things in harmony. I like to listen to different musics and even music of language. I like African music and Native American music and spiritual music, Egyptian music, which is Arabic. And there are different musics that set a different tone inside of my body, which is a new vibration.
Yeah.
So that's kind of healing for me.
Absolutely. I mean, music carries so much of an energy, a frequency, a vibration to it. I mean, one of the best ways to change state, right, is to put on a powerful song, something that gives you the chills, something that makes you want to move and can literally have the, whatever it is, to move through you. And then just to finish this up, so step 5 is sharing it. So once you've written out those 3 sheets of paper and you've really gotten as detailed as possible, as specific as possible, you then I mean, you don't have to share it with anyone else if you really don't want to. But if you have someone that you feel comfortable enough, that you feel safe around, that you can share this with, whether it's in person or even on the phone, I recommend that you read it to them, because you're really putting it out there, and it's something you're externalizing this. And if you really don't want to, then read it to yourself in the mirror, but read it out loud. So it goes from here and here to outside of you.
Yes.
That's very important. And then, and this is my personal favorite,
The bonus.
it's you do a ritual of release. And this is important. Now, it might sound a little woo-woo, but this is where you get those candles, you put on the music, the powerful music, and whatever you feel called to do, whether it's tearing the crap out of it, like just tear it up into little pieces, right? And then,
Or burning it.
yeah, or the thing that I would say is most powerful is burning it. So you can burn it wherever you can, and either scatter it into the wind. You can use water, you can flush it down the toilet, you can even bury it. Exactly. And that is really important because it draws the line between your past, who you are now, and who you're becoming. So it's really that act of I'm actually really letting it go and transmuting it, right? And it no longer has a hold on me. I've literally just shifted the energy of this situation. And then the absolute last step, and this is key, okay? Celebrate. So celebrate that release. Yes, exactly. Get that music out, go dance around your home, jump up and down, shout for joy, and give thanks. So really express your gratitude for the fact that you have now let that go.
Yes.
And you are stepping into a new, more empowered, better version of yourself.
That is so important. That's extremely important, because every religion that I've ever embarked upon, from Islam to Christianity to Buddhism, our rituals are practiced, and people don't call them rituals, but a lot of these same spiritual endeavors or rituals are spiritual. Like, a lot of people know that this is a spiritual world, but they don't realize the steps that you have to take in order to release certain spirits. And energy is a spirit, the thought is a spirit, the process in writing it down is a spiritual process. The process in burning, ripping it up, flushing it, burying it, those are spiritual ceremonies. And so once you can accept that and start doing it, it'll be easy to release and then tell yourself a new story about who you are, because everybody is living from a certain story of who they are and who they are becoming. And what you tell yourself is the most important story of all.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
I am so grateful for you being here. And this is Melissa Acuna Dango. And if you want to find her, you can find her on her page.
Yes, my page is called Curiously Connected. I also have a website, which is curiouslyconnected.net. And feel free to email me too. I mean, you can DM me, but you can also email me at melissa@curiouslyconnected.net.
And she will be embarking upon a few more endeavors in her life. She has a lot going on, so 9 times out of 10, we're going to have to move this to either the weekend, or we can do it at a later date. But next week we will not be here Wednesday at 10 or 10:30. So we love you guys, and we thank you for your support.
Yes.
And we are here for you. If you have any questions, let us know. We'll answer it to the best of our ability, and know that we both channel the highest spirit, and we are seers, we are healers, and we're here to help. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
Namaste.